Welcome back to how to learn chess. And after understanding the chessboard and the pieces, we are now moving to how each piece moves. And firstly, we are going to take a look at these pieces. What's it called? Yes, they are called the rooks. Elephants, but we call them rooks on the chessboard. R-O-O-K. There are 4 rooks on the board, 2 for white, 2 for black. These are their initial positions. Now let's have a look at how these rooks actually move. Let's put a rook here and you will see that the rook always moves in straight line. A rook goes like this, and like this. Here's a small question to you. How many squares does this rook cover in this position? Well, the right answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the right answer is 14 squares from where it is. You don't count the square on which it already is. Okay, so you've understood how the rook moves. It basically moves straight, vertically and horizontally. It does not jump over other pieces. It also captures in the same way that it moves. Let me give you an example here. So here's a position. You need to tell me which of the pawns can the rook capture in this position. Well, if you told me that the rook can capture this pawn, you are absolutely right. If you also told that this rook can capture this pawn, you are also very correct. However, you cannot really capture this pawn because the rook cannot jump. So that's how the rook captures. Here's another position. This time we have the black rook. Question to you is, what can the black rook capture in this position? Well, if you said the rook will capture this queen, fantastic job. That is correct. Because the rook can capture opponent's piece. However, it cannot capture its own piece. It's its own team, right? How do you kill someone from your own team? So you cannot take this queen. I have a very interesting game for you. You have the white rook here. You have to capture a black pawn on every single move. Try to make sure that you think a few steps ahead because you shouldn't get locked up at some point. Well, if you began with rook takes this pawn on d6, that is the correct way to do it. However, if you started off with either taking this pawn or this pawn, you will get trapped in between, because if you took this pawn, then next move you can either take this, but then the rook cannot capture anything, right? Because it moves vertically and horizontally. So you can take this one, then you can take this one, then you can take this one, but still one remains. You have to clear up the full board. The same happens if you take this one, then next move you can take this, then you can take this. But what about these two guys? They're still left. So the right way to begin, and this is where you have to have a forethought. You take this, then you take this, then you take this, then you take this, and then you take this, and you have cleared up the board. Now this was just for illustrative purpose, because in chess, white makes one move, then black makes one move. It's a game of alternate moves, like your opponent makes one move, then you play. But this was just an example to show you how the rook moves and how it captures. I hope it was clear. We will next move on to the next piece on the chessboard, that is the knight. For now, bye bye.